like to welcome to the show Alex Borstein.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I am good. I've been a big fan of yours for many, many years.
Oh, don't be
through
nervous.
through various projects of yours, not just Family Guy, but Mad TV, and now you're on Getting It On HBO.
Getting On. Getting
Getting
It
On.
might be a porno. Getting On.
You know
is
what? I don't know why I said that because
boutique show on
I
HBO.
did all my research. I even have it here on my sheet.
It's
It says
because you were
Getting It
looking at
On.
me and I'm so fine. You
Probably.
thought Getting It On.
It is.
Yeah, I know.
Let's talk
Okay.
about Getting On HBO here. What can you tell the audience about this show that they don't already know?
Getting On is my favorite thing that I have ever done, I think, thus far in my career. It is the most challenging work and the most fun. You know, it's me, Laurie Metcalf, Niecy Nash, Mel Rodriguez. We are doctors and nurses working in a downtrodden geriatric wing of a hospital. And it's an all-female geriatric wing. And you probably immediately think, oh, that sounds like an awful downer. But it's somehow a very funny, it's a dark comedy. It's really funny, also tragic, also very real, very raw. It's shot in a raw style.
Where is it actually shot? Is it on a soundstage, or did
It's
they
in
actually?
Los Angeles.
No, I mean, is it on a soundstage, or do they use an actual building
It's
for
an
it?
old hospital, an abandoned hospital.
Nice.
So that has a lot of creepy ghosts, I'm sure, that kind of add to the.
Seems to be the way they do it with a lot of these hospital and medical shows, whether it's comedy or serious. Like Scrubs was using an abandoned hospital.
Yes.
ER, and then the other one, Chicago Hope,
Yeah.
also did an abandoned hospital. And it seems all the medical shows use old facilities or facilities that are being refurbished by payment of the TV companies to give it that authenticity and make it feel like this is a really serious effort that they're putting out here.
It does. I think it helps it feel really real. And timing wise, we've got this set that's a hospital. It's all lit. It's all ready to go. There's no downtime between a scene. You know, other shows, if you're on a lot or on a set, go to your trailer for 10 minutes. We're going to relight the next scene, move to the next set, this show is not like that. You get there at 6 a.m, get minimal hair and makeup, throw your uniform on, and you are on deck the entire day for 13 hours. It's like a real nurse's shift, and you don't stop. There's no downtime. There's no relighting. There's no second team where someone stands in for you while they're lighting so you can rest in your trailer.
So when you're not shooting and they're doing changes and what have you, your break room and your timeout stuff is done in areas where actual patients used to be.
Yes, you don't leave the set. Not even you're rarely allowed to pee. We have 3 days to shoot an episode.
They have a bathroom there, right?
The bathroom, there's not a working bathroom in the actual hospital.
So you have to
go
actually
our
leave the
trailer.
hospital to a trailer?
Yes. So they don't like to let us leave. So, but we have 3 days to shoot an episode.
The
Most
area you're
shows have,
shooting
like,
in the
5.
hospital there, what used to be there?
I'm not exactly sure what our wing was, but there are patient rooms.
Right.
But they have come in, the set designers have come in and reimagined the whole thing. So I'm not exactly sure what it looks like. One of our scenes, season 1, we shot in a room. There's the end of the scene where we go and we have to move the ladies out of the lung room. They're all on lung machines because the floor has to be decontaminated because of possible contamination. So we're moving all of these ladies out. And the actual room that they were being kept in, we think it might have been a morgue initially because it was windowless, breathless. It felt, the minute you walked in, your chest felt heavy.
I was just going to say, what do you feel when you're there?
I'm not one of these ghosts people, but it certainly felt like death had been in the room. It was a heavy feeling.
So do you just feel it when you're not shooting, where you're not paying attention to what's going on, when you have some time to yourself while other things are happening? Is that when you start feeling it? Or do you actually feel it while you're in the midst of a scene, like, oh my God, this is feeling really weird?
Just when we go down into the room, when we would go down into that room, it was always like, I don't want to go in there alone. And just the second you got in there, it felt, kind of take bigger breaths and felt like it was heavy on your chest.
This is a great show and a great cast that you're working with. You're no stranger to doing TV. You've consistently doing stuff for 20 years. I'm not trying to age you,
No,
but I'm just saying.
True. It really, 97 was my big break with Mad TV.
Right.
That was kind of the first, on camera gig I'd ever done. So yeah, since
So
97.
what was the feeling getting this role as compared to getting things in the past for Mad TV, for Family Guy?
This always felt monumental. I mean, from the second that I got an email saying, we have an audition for you, and I clicked on what the British version was. This is a show that originated in the UK. I immediately was like, the wind was knocked out of me. This is so special and so amazing. I want to be a part of this. So it feels very different. And it's the first time I'm playing. I mean, Miss Swan was similarly very three-dimensional and felt very real to me. That was kind of a character with a wig where you're a little hidden. This is the first time I feel like it's me kind of exposed playing a very fully realized three-dimensional character.
Are you getting people recognizing you now from this show, or is it still a little too early to tell?
Yeah, I am getting, a lot of times when you're stopped on the street, it's kind of a game you play. When someone goes, "Oh my God, are you the girl?" You can guess. You know that they're going to be like, "Are you the girl from Saturday Night Live?" And you correct them. No, you mean Mad TV. Right, Mad TV. Or,
You're still getting Miss Swan to this day.
oh, yes. You can kind of guess. You know who's going to say Mad TV. You know who's going to say Family Guy. And you kind of, now it's getting to be a little bit of a surprise that all of a sudden people are, I think they're going to say Family Guy.
Who do you get more?
It's really a mishmash. And Gilmore Girls. I did a part on Gilmore Girls, and people rabid Gilmore Girls fans.
Yeah.
And I always know, you see kind of a 20-something-year-old girl heading towards me, and it's someone who grew up, whose pivotal years were watching Gilmore Girls.
But
So
see, that makes
it's
sense. It would be a little bit weirder if, a 20-something-year-old guy came up and said, "I watched you on Gilmore Girls."
But I am starting to get a lot of young guys that are seeing getting on, so it's kind of cool. I don't know how that's happening, but
The staff that you're working with here, cast, sorry, not staff, on the show here, Lori I can never get her name right. Is it Metcalf? Right. I will always know her as Aunt Jackie from Roseanne, but
Me
she's
too.
been in so many projects as smaller roles. Most recently, Sheldon's mom on Big Bang Theory.
Yep.
But you see her pop up in miniseries, little bit parts in movies, and she's another person that never stops working.
She's done so much theater here, too, in New York, and she's phenomenal. She's like working with a jazz musician. She is, you never know which way she's going to go. You have no idea what note she's going to hit, and it's like a roller coaster just acting opposite her.
Do you notice that she still gets recognized as for Roseanne whenever she goes out?
Absolutely.
Do you guys compete
Absolutely.
to see who gets recognized more?
No, we do not. I mean, we're extremely low key, her and I. We both are kind of shorts, flip flop, t-shirt wearing people. Niecy, if we go out, the three of us go out together. Niecy is done up. She's got,
She's a lot of energy too.
beautiful hair. She's got lashes and done, and she is Niecy Nash.
Right.
But Lori and I can easily kind of blend into a booth, a Naugahyde booth. But
Niecy
enters
kind
the
of
room.
commands your attention
She
no matter where
does.
she is.
She does.
When you got this role, one of the few outlets that pretty much champions the television industry right now is working with HBO.
Mhm.
So getting this job on this show, getting the chance where it's going to air on HBO, and you're going to get a whole new audience that's not just relying on basic cable or broadcast television. So now you're getting the HBO crowd who's going to follow you from Game of Thrones. What is that feeling like? This is like a next tier in your career.
It absolutely felt like a mistake. At the beginning, I was kind of like, any minute they're going to ask to see my cool card and realize I don't belong. It's a completely different level. The people, first of all, you're working with people who have hired the showrunners because they want their art. They have purchased their art. They have purchased the painting,
Mm-hmm.
and they now are just letting them decide where to hang it. So they're very hands off. Mark Olson and Will Sheffer, our showrunners and writers, they get to create exactly what they want to create. And that's the smartest thing that HBO and a lot of these, FX, a lot of these cable outlets do, is that they hire people they trust and then they let them create something beautiful. And good or bad, HBO lives with the result.
Right.
And they give things a really good fair shot. They're usually a 2-season at least kind of place. And I think that's just an incredible model. It's such a great, they're not beholden to advertisers the same way, so they can afford to do that.
Let me put something into your head here, if it hasn't already been placed into you. There is a real serious chance here that you're going to get nominated for all kinds of awards.
Well,
Because just being on HBO seems to get, and not that any of their shows are bad or low in quality, but these academies seem to have a love for HBO programming, and they're done very well, and there's a lot of care put into these things, but they all get nominated, and all the roles get nominated every year for the Screen Actors Guild, for all that stuff. So there's a good chance you're going to get a lot of nominations for the lifespan of the show.
maybe not. I always say, like, I don't need an Emmy. We just need some viewers.
Right.
We just we'll take 3 million viewers over a statue any day. But I realize that the Emmys help you get into that place. It helps publicize. It helps do it. I really think it's not just the Academy loves HBO. I think it's because of what I just talked about before. HBO is allowing
Right.
different things on the air and things that spark interest and are special and unique. So I think that's why they get a lot of attention.
Have you noticed more that with the way everything's changing as far as where people are getting their entertainment from, are you noticing more people are getting on or Family Guy because they watch it online? Are they saying, oh, I just saw the thing on Hulu, or I have HBO Go on my phone? They're not really even sitting there and watching the television anymore because they can get it in so many other places.
Family Guy, I will say Family Guy still has a huge appointment television fan
It's on my
base.
DVR, right?
But there's a lot of, high schoolers and college people that like to make a thing of Sunday nights, that they get together and have beers in the dorm room and they all watch Family Guy. So that still has kind of a fun traditional Sunday night base. But I know that getting on, so much of the life of it and the viewership and the steam and the momentum that's being built is from HBO Go, from people streaming it and binging it.
Are you surprised with Family Guy getting such massive ratings with just the reruns that TBS was doing?
I'm not surprised. I feel like there's a group of 18 to 20 writers that sit in a room and work. You would not believe the amount of work that goes into a single gag, one joke, one TV gag on that show is hours and hours and hours of work and reworking and retinkering and re-recording. Each episode takes 9 months to make. So I feel like the quality is put in there. It's kind of like you make a beautiful article of clothing. It's going to last 60 years. I kind of think we've made a nice, sturdy piece of television.
Recently, and this is one of my favorite things that you guys have done to date, you did the big crossover with The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Family Guy seems to get a bad rap when compared to South Park and The Simpsons and what have you. And it was pulled off amazingly well by both parties. Obvious shots at each other's shows, turning around and looking themselves in the mirror and insulting themselves.
Yeah.
It was great to see that that you guys got along and worked together. But before that, how were you guys dealing with the fact that so many people were taking shots at you guys? Like South Park had that episode. The Simpsons for a while wasn't really too happy that you guys were there. Like you being as part of the voice cast, how did you guys deal with that? You did.
We loved it. I mean, our show, we take shots at everybody.
Right.
Equal opportunity offender. You can't be that animal and then be upset when that other animal approach. Like that's amazing that South Park took
a whole episode
to talk about Family Guys as fans of South Park. That's huge. I mean, we all felt pretty damn honored, to be honest, and that The Simpsons even knew we were there. I mean, we felt the same thing when I was on Mad TV. You always felt like, does SNL even know we exist? Like, do they even know we're on the air? There was never any mention or slam of us or parody of us or anything, and that hurts more.
When they just ignore you, that you
don't even think you're
not even competition to them. Yeah.
So we've always loved it, and it's this cool postmodern thing too for a television show to recognize another television show within the television show. So I think it's kind of a neat kind of inside layered thing to do.
Well, it's good to see that everybody has thick skin there, especially Seth.
Absolutely.
So he was through the roof when all these people were just like, they just did a whole episode about us.
I think the only thing that ever was a true issue between Simpsons and Family Guy was when we first started, the fear of there are X amount of brilliant storyboard artists and animation directors. And that was competitive of are you going to poach some of our guys? Are we going to lose some of our animation directors or our storyboard people or our artists? That's, I think, where the only real issue ever was with the two teams or whatever.
You do a lot of singing. You see a lot of it in Family Guy, but you're a very accomplished singer.
Oh, wow.
And what really put it in my head that I was like, wow, this is not just something you do, that you really are invested in it. It's when you did the live episode, or the live-ish episode of Family Guy, where you and Seth were performing the songs and what have you, and you do the town hall stuff where you do the scripts live. Will we see any of that translate to getting on? Will there be an episode where you're gonna just belt out a tune for no reason? Or?
So far, I have not sung on Getting On, but I do in season 2. You see her play a musical instrument, so I don't want to give that away.
Okay,
but you will see me play a musical instrument that I had to, try to learn how to play for the show. So we'll see how that goes. The
show is Getting On HBO. Returns November 9th. At 10:30 p.m., which is a great slot.
November 9th, they're going to start season 2, but something cool that they're doing a week before on November 1st, they are doing a marathon of the first season. And they're only a half an hour each, and they're 6. So you can watch it in 3 hours. You can bang it out.
I think HBO started to recognize the whole binge watching thing that was going on with Netflix, that when they started doing for other shows that were returning, here's your marathon weekend, set your DVR.
Yeah.
And a lot of other networks too, not just HBO, are now doing that for, like, American Horror Story on FX just came back, and they reran all of the last season.
Oh,
Even
they
though each
did?
season is different, they reran on the weekend before
you in the
to get you
mood.
like, oh my God, I need to seek out
It's
this show.
television foreplay.
Right.
Yes.
Getting On HBO returns November 9th, 10:30 p.m. Alex Borstein on Twitter.
I am on Twitter, just at Alex Borstein.
Do you do Instagram too, Facebook, or
I
is that too
don't do
much?
Instagram or Facebook, just the Twitter.
Keep it simple.
It's enough time out of my day.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate
Thank you.
everything, and good luck with this show. I'm telling you, you're going to be ripe for an Emmy.
Well, from your mouth, baby.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, this is Lois Griffin from Family Guy, and you're listening to It's Eric Nagel. If you forgot, it's Eric Nagel. Eric Nagel.